So let's create a container for our contact body. So div with a class of contact, and then another div. This will be the container for our form. Main, let's give it a class of main contact. And then the form, give it a property of method get. Let's give this a class form example. I would like to create div in each of input element. So for the first one, let's create a container for the name. Form example, and then label for name. So enter your name, and then input text with a type of text, and then name should be name. Let's give this an ID of name and some placeholder. Jane Doe, and let's put required. Okay, so for the next container, this will be the container for our email field. So div form, again form example class, label, this one's for email, and then let's say enter your email. And then next is the input. We should have a type of email, name, email. Let's give this an ID of email, and then some placeholder. Let's say Jane Doe, and then required. For the last one, this will be the text area, so that a user can put some comments or message. So again, let's create another container with the same class, form example. For should be message. Let's give this a class of message, and then tell us your concern. Alright, and then input, I'm sorry, I mean text area, not input. Let's give this a name of message, and then an ID of message as well. Let's make this 50, and then for rows just remain 10. Let's put some placeholder in here, something like type your message here. And then for the last container, let's create a button. For this one, this will have a different class. Of course, you can create, you can name it different class you want. Oops, so input, the type is submit. Let's give it a value of submit. I guess this is it. Let's save and then let's check. By the way, I'm using VS Code, and I this is for me, this is one of the greatest editor. I can view um, my pages or HTML pages by just right clicking and then open with live server. So every time I edit or I make edit something, then it's updated live. I mean, I don't have to keep on reloading my page to see the changes that I've just created. So here it is. Alright, so now it's time to style our pages. Alright, so let's go to our, let's open our style.css. First off, I would like to use Google Fonts. So let's go to Google Font. I'd like to use the font style Mon Montserrat. So let's embed this one. I would like to use the medium one. So let's go to embed and then where was that? No, import and then copy and paste this one in your CSS. Okay, so paste. Okay, first let's style our global back sizing, just to eliminate the extra or the default margins and paddings. So back sizing border box, right? And for the body, since I really love gray, so let's use a background color of F9, 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 and then height 100%, width, oops, misspelled that one, 100% again, and then margin of 0, padding 0. For the font family, again, I would like to use Montserrat. So it's the fallback for this is sans serif. I would like to have a font color of 69. Oops. Okay. Save. Alright, so let's go to our, I should open our index. So go here, right click, open the live server. So let's target our header and let's tie that one. So for our header top, the container that contains the header. Let's give it a height of 75 pixels. Save. See, the changes are live, so that's why it's more convenient to use that app. It's an extension actually in VS Code, so you should check that out. I forgot the name, so just if you're using VS Code, just peruse it and yeah, discover extensions that are very useful. So okay, excuse me. So for where am I? Okay, let's change that one. For the header element with 100% height, let's give it 75 pixels, border bottom of 1 pixel, solid, this is really my favorite color, gray, any shades of gray. Okay, so you remember that in user story, I think it's user story, I forgot what number was that, but it says that we should use at least one flex. So I'm gonna be using flex and grid for this landing page. First is in the header, so justify content. So guys, if your display is gonna be flex, its default flex direction would be row. So your justify content, this is the position of your item with respect to the main axis. So the main axis in this case, since this is in default, which is row, so that's from left to right. And I would like to give it a flex end. Align items. This is the position of your item with respect to the cross axis. So since this is, since in this case this is the main axis is row, so our cross axis this time is from top to bottom. So for align items, I would like to give it a value of center, and then position fixed. Remember that in the Freecodecamp instruction, it says that the header or the nav should stay at the top of the viewport height. So let's use position property and with the value of fixed. Background color, again of course, any shade of gray. So C2, C5, CC. Okay, so here it is. So of course we will eliminate what do you call that, the these, whatever they're called, I forgot. And then let's place this icon or this image to all the way to the left. Oh, I remember now, bullets. So let's eliminate the bullets and then the hyperlinks. For a moment, let's I want to style. I want to give these the body, some paddings and margins. So let me just insert that one. So if you remember, our main, the class main, is the container. It's a div container for the video and the text of the video here. So let's style that real quick. Let's give this one rem. Margin 20 pixels, 25 pixels. So there you go. I just love seeing that more pleasing to the eyes. So let's go back to our nav. So let's target or eliminate those bullets. So we have an ID of navbar and then UL. So navbar UL. List style should be none. So here it's now gone. And for the list, navbar ULLI display inline block, so that they will be placed horizontally. And then let's give it a padding of 10 pixels and 10 pixels top and bottom, and then 20 pixels in the sides. So here it is. And for the anchors, the anchor tag, let's target those navbar ULLIA. For the text decoration, it should be none to eliminate these hyperlinks. So let's give it a value of none. And for the color, I would like to use 696969. And then let's give this some transition. I like those smooth transition in our menu. And then let's target the navbar, some hover effect. Okay. Background color 696969. Color white. Let's give it some padding. 25 pixels top and bottom, 25 pixels to the sides. Some border radius, 10 pixels. And then let's save and let's have a look. Yeah, I like this effect. It's very simple. It's not, how do you call that? It's not flashy, or it's just simple, but I like something. Yeah. So for the image, what we're going to do is, since our container for this for our nav, I used the flex for our image to be placed at the top, all the way to the left. Let's use margin right and then put it in auto. Let's adjust the width and the height for this one. So let's use 70 pixels. Height of 70 pixels. So margin right should be auto. So now our image or our icon or our logo is placed at the leftmost. Let's use a cursor pointer, and then let's give it some padding. 0 top and bottom, 5 pixels to the sides. Yeah, I think this looks better. I mean, I am satisfied with this one. And you see, when you hover over the logo, it changes the cursor to a pointer. So let's style next our video. For the video element, let's give it a margin right of auto, and then margin left. Where's left? Right, let's just type it. Display block. Let's adjust the size of it or the dimension. Let's give it a width of, let's see, 700 pixels. Some height, 500 pixels, and then let's have a look. Yeah, I think this is cool. Let's target the text below the video. So remember we use a class of video text for that one, and let's target the H1. So the color again 6969. Font size 30 pixels. Font weight, let's use 700. And font style, I would like to give it an oblique font style. And then let's enter the text. Save, and then yeah, I like it. Next is the paragraph. So again, the class of video text, and then target paragraph. So color, let's give it a font size of 20 pixels. Font weight 500, since we used 700 on the H1. And then of course, let's center the text. Save. Okay. Now it's looking a little bit better. Notice that our nav menu or our nav bar is in fixed position. Now let's style our form. So we use an ID form. Background color. Display. I would like to use flex for this one. And then instead of using the default row, let's use the flex flow. So flex flow is is the flex direction and the flex, if it's wrap or unwrap. So it's the direction and the deflex wrap. So for this one, let's use column. And then for the flex wrap, let's use wrap. So for the flex wrap, of course, you can choose unwrap. For this one, I would like to use wrap, of course. So for justify content, let's center. And for the align items, center. Okay, so again, so for the justify content, since our flex direction is column, so justify content, remember, is the position of the item with respect to the main axis. Our main axis in this case is column, and column is from top to bottom. So justify content is the position of an item with respect to the main axis, which is from top to bottom. So again, for the align items, it's the position of the item with respect to the cross axis. Our cross axis in this case is from left to right. So let's put that as center. I would like to give it a padding of 20 pixels. Some border radius. Let's just give it 8 pixels. And for the color, yes, I really like this color. I'm sorry. You can choose or whatever color you want. 40 pixels. Then 20 pixels for the sides. For the border, 1 pixel solid. As you see, 0. This is another shade of gray. So let's check it out. I think it looks better. Let's just give some space between the label and the input, as well as the submit. Okay, so form and the class of email. Let's give it a padding of 30 pixels. Let's check. Oh, it's looking nice. Next, let's target the input. So form and then input. Let's give it a border of 1 pixel solid and a color of C0, C0, width 300 pixels, some height 25 pixels. Let's go check it out. Yes, I think that's better. For the submit, I want to style it furthermore. Let's give it a background color just to have, just to have another color in the form. 6969. The color of the font or text should be white. Font size 20 pixels, right? And then height 40 pixels. Let's give it some back shadow, 2 pixel. Right. I want to give it some padding. Let's check. So I like it this way. I think it's cool. Yeah, so it's responsive as well since we're using Flex. I know the video is not responsive, so we will make it responsive later in our media query. Okay, let's now move on to our services. So again, I would like to use Flex for this one. So background color. (20 pixels top bottom, 50 pixels to the sides, margin 40 pixels, oops, and 20 pixels. Let's give some border radius of 8 pixels. And then color, border 1 pixel, solid white. Oh, that looks better now. Okay, so let's use Flex. Let's target the detail. Where was that? Yeah, let's target the containers. Each containers of the services. So that is detail services. Detail services. So display flex direction row, and then wrap, justify content, center. I'd like to center everything. Align items to center, and then border bottom 1 pixel, solid, that looks better. Let's style further the other detail inside the services. So let's eliminate this one, by the way. This last border. So how are we going to use eliminate that one? Just use the pseudo elements last child. So border bottom of 0 pixels. Oops. Save, and then it's gone. I would like to give some space between the icon, between the icon and the text, as well as the paragraph. So let's go ahead and do that. Sometimes I would like to style my an item within the element itself. I don't know if you find that annoying, but sometimes I do that. Sometimes it's convenient for me just to directly go into the element and style it. So let's target directly this H2, this title under services. So that's H2, style, width, let's see, 40%. And then some padding, 20 pixels and 20 pixels. Let's see if that's, yeah, that looks better, I guess. For the paragraph, let's give it a style. Text align, would like to align them so that, okay, justify. So let's copy this one and then paste it in here. So it's here. Same with the paragraph. Copy. That looks better, I guess. Yeah, this is fine. Let's see how it looks if we have a smaller screen. Yeah. Yes, I like it. Okay, let's now move into our features page. Features, display. This one I would like to use grid. It's just so much easier to use grid. So for grid template column, one fractional, since we only have 2 features. And let's target the first feature, which has a class of unlimited. Display, I'm going to use flex, so it's a grid. So 2 features, I use grid, and then within the grid I use flex. Then the flex flow column, and then wrap. Justify content, flex start, align items, flex start. For the margin, 20 pixels, 50 pixels, and some padding, 20 pixels. Alright, let's see how it looks. Okay, I'm cool with this one, so let's style the next one. It has a class of premium. Again, use displays flex flow column, justify content, flex start, align items, again flex start. Let's give it a margin of 20 pixels. Padding. Did I write the color right? Alright. Oops, it should not look that. The input, the button. Let's see. Okay, I like the button now, but we have to fix this one. It should not look like that. Let's see, where did I go wrong? So I messed up in this part under the class of unlimited. It should be pixels px and I wrote xp. That's why it doesn't give me. Okay. It gives us a space, but it should not be like this. Now where did I mess it up again? Oh, okay, forgot the wrap. It's not. Again, here, I'm terrible. So syntax really, writing your code is, you have to be really careful. Okay, so I'm now getting what I'm expecting. Now let's style our footer. See. So for our footer, background color, and then font size 16 pixels, color black, text align center, let's give it some border top, 1 pixel solid, let's give it some margin top, oops, 100 pixels. Let's see. Oh, so I think I like, for me, I'm satisfied with my homepage already. And let's see how it looks when we have a smaller screen. So the features section is not that responsive. You see we have a padding and a margin here. In here we don't have. So later in our media query, we're going to style that one. I'm pretty much satisfied with the services section. I mean, it's responsive. Same goes with the form and the video text, except for the video. So later on, we're going to style that one. Let's move to our about page. So you see, I use a lot of flex in this project. It's really more convenient to use flex and grid. I mean, compared to using float. Okay, so let's go to our about. Again, live server. Where was it? Okay. Okay. So it's coming together. Now let's target our, let's move this here. Let's target our first section, which is the paragraph. So that's that has an ID of about. Let's give it a width of 70%. Okay. And for the A side, let's give it a width of 20%. So let's style our A side element. Let's give it a background color. Some padding. 5 pixels top bottom and then 5 pixels to the sides. Margin 10 pixels top bottom and then 0 to the sides. Okay, so I would like to place the A side here in the right side. Let's style first our paragraph. Text, align, justify. And then our A side is title. Let's give it a margin of 0. Padding. And for the unordered list, let's delete the bullets. Let's target the anchor tags. Text, decoration, none, and then color, white. Okay, so our A side should be at the side, so let's style that at the upper right. It should be placed at the upper right position. So let's go back to our style sheet, and then let's give it a this should be a class, it's not an ID, because in here I've given a class of about main. So this should be class, and let's see if perfect. Okay, now it's working. Now our problem is this footer. Doesn't change. So we need to troubleshoot this one. We could use, I guess, give the body a certain viewport height. But let's see what we can do. A more convenient one. Again, class of about main. So I guess let's give the about main class some viewport height. Let's see, 800 pixels. Oops, I think that's too much. It doesn't look good at all. Or maybe we could use calc. Remember that our nav has a 75 pixel height, so no, it's 100 viewport height minus 75 pixels. Would that work? I'm not sure. That doesn't work. Okay, then will 90 viewport height work? No, that's too much. So let's adjust. Let's give it 70. Okay, let's give it 60. I think, yeah, we got it. So what I did was I targeted the container of the main, the body of the about, and then I gave it a height of a certain height. Where was that? Here, 60 viewport height. And then let's see how it looks when our screen if we have smaller screen, so it's responsive. Right, I'm satisfied with the about. Let's go to the contact page. So at the moment, this is our contact page. Let's style that one. Okay, for the container, again, I'm gonna use flex for this one. For the flex flow, row, and then wrap. Let's give it a certain height. Let's say 70 viewport height, and then some width, 60%, some background color, margin, 50 pixels for top and bottom, and let's make it an auto to the side so that it centers. Border 1 pixel, solid and then white. Border radius of 20 pixels. Back shadow 5 pixel, 5 pixels. That's okay. I like that, but let's give it some spacing between the label and the input. So let's target those one. So I'm padding right 1 rem. And then font size 20 pixels. Main contact form input display of block, and then the margin 10 pixels, and then 0 to the sides. Let's go and check. Okay, that looks better, but I want the text area to be below the title. Text area, display block, and let's give it a margin 10 pixel top and bottom, and 0 to the sides. Yeah, so this looks cool to me, and then it's responsive as well, and then it's center. Last thing is the submit button. Submit contact. Okay, let's place it. Let's target this one. Copy. Font size of 20 pixels. Border radius. Let's give some border radius to that. Some padding. 10 pixels. Oops. And then margin left 30%. Let's see. Okay. That looks great to me. And it's responsive. Now time for the media query. Let's use max with 768 pixels. Now for the header, I would like to delete the icon or the logo and then center the menus. Anyway, we just have 3 pages, so I would like to place them at the center. So for the header, img, let's give it a display none. So let's see if we have smaller screen. Yeah, it's gone. for the nav bar, so what I'm doing here is I targeted directly the container of the menu, which is an ID of nav bar. So remember that in our earlier CSS, we targeted the header, which contains the image or the logo, and then the nav element, which contains the menus, and then we style them as flex, right? In this case, I targeted directly the nav element, which contains the list items or the menu. So I gave it a width of 100%. I mean 100 pixels. Oh, it should be, sorry, 100%. And display flex. The center, just give both the justify content and align items center. So let's check. Notice that when it reaches the 768 pixels screen size, the logo is gone, and then I like that one. Let's proceed with the video. For the video element, let's adjust the dimensions. So let's give it 475 for the width, and for the height 375. Let's see how that looks cool for me. I don't really want to adjust the font size of the text below the video. I'm fine with that. Let's move on to our icons here in our services. I like to make it smaller. So let's target directly the class of that icon. So 4x, font size, it's smaller, that's better. Let's adjust the H2 or the title of the services. So class services, and then H2, font size 18 pixels. That looks better. For the paragraph, let's make it smaller. Let's give it 14 pixels. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that one. For this one, for the features, for our cards, I would like to place it on top of another. Oops. Okay, features. So display should be grid, but the grid template column should be only one fractional. So check that out. That looks amazing, right? Grid really is something. It's just so convenient. Let's go to our about page. I'm pretty much satisfied with the about page, but I would just like to adjust the font size for this one. For the A sides title, let's adjust the font size. Let's make it 15 pixels. it's smaller. A size anchor tag, font size of 12 pixels. Yeah, I think I'm cool with this one. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with the about, with the contact page. I don't think we should change anything or adjust anything. So I'm pretty sure we have covered all the user story. Let's review. Where was that? Responsive. The rest of my projects really I didn't create it in CodePen, so just use VS Code. So let's review. User story number 13, navbar should always be at the top of the viewport, which we have done. User story number 14, the landing page should have at least one media query. We have done that already. And for the last one is should utilize CSS Flexbox at least once. So we have pretty much utilized Flexbox more than once, as well as Grid. So I guess that's it for this video, and I hope you have learned something from how I do it. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and hopefully in my next video, which is the next project for this, for the responsive web design, which is the technical documentation page. I'm not sure when will I be able to do this one, but hopefully for the next coming weeks, I'll be able to put up another video for that one. So again, thank you so much for watching, and bye.